So, hello guys, and welcome back to the Pain and Para podcast. So, the sound might be bad because I haven't got my mic, so I'm sorry if the sound is awful. But I have finished, I've basically done my last assessment for uni, and you know what, like the day before my assessment, like my last one, I've got a day that I need to go in next week, but it's just for a Viva thing, whatever it's going to be. But basically, in terms of like all of the big like what they called, like big milestones or whatever of the year, like dissertation, my performance, the director's performance, like all of those big things that I had anticipated all year and had to like force myself to get through, I've actually freaking done. And obviously yesterday before the performance, I was actually just so excited because I was like, oh my god, this is it, like this is the relief. Oh my god, you guys can't see me very well, hang on. Better? I was like, this is it, this is the relief that I have been absolutely itching and scratching for, like literally. And so I was off my fate, like I was just so buzzing, like full to the brim of excitement and energy the night before the performance. And then the day of the performance was like exciting as well, and I enjoyed it, and it was nice, and it went well, and I liked it, and it was good, it was great, it was a nice day. And then today I've woken up and I feel good now, but I've had to sift through a lot of things, like not just through a lot of things, but I feel like I actually had a feeling of like, actually I was just crying like most of the day, and I even feel emotional now, like, oh, I could just cry now, but I don't want to cry because I've got my gems on. But I even feel emotional now. It's just like actually I got there and it's like I finally got to the top of the mountain, but I'm so tired, like like that climb was no ordinary climb. Like I was holding on by my hands and my teeth and my feet, like, do you know what I mean? Like I was literally, that climb was not you know, it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna go climb the three biggest mountains and it's gonna be a great day out. Like, no, this was like climbing deathly hills. I've smacked to the bottom like 3, 4, 5 times, like, and then when I finally got to the top of the mountain, I'm so bruised and battered because of how I've had to, like, do you know what I mean? Like that's how it kind of feels. I thought I'd be like really like joyous and relieved, and I do feel relieved, and I am like happy, and I'm excited, but I'm also just like, oh my god, like kind of heartbroken in a way of like, that was actually awful. Like, sorry, but it was awful. But it's also been, you know, I've grown in so many ways, and it's been like brilliant in so many ways. In fact, I actually have the diary entry of today, which I'll read to you. So I said, I'm done, ! Pretty much. And I do feel so glad, but I also feel kind of, I don't know, less full of, sorry, what? Oh, like less full of it, or less full of than I thought I'd be. Yeah, like less full of it than I thought I'd be. Like I felt kind of like less kind of like woo than I thought I'd be, if you know what I mean. But I woke up at 10:10 and I also saw 11:11. I said it is giving celebration, etc. I think I just need to come back to myself again and I'll feel it. And I think that even made me emotional just saying it, because I think like so much of this experience has like pulled me so far away from like, it's just been really difficult because I've never struggled mentally so much in my life, and I've never had to sacrifice so much of my being and my essence. I've never had to suppress so much of myself, and like I've never had to like, it's just been hard in so many ways that I never ever accounted for, but like I'm glad that I didn't, you know, because in a way it's just good that I've had those experiences. But I was going on such a personal spiritual journey alongside uni itself, and not only that, uni itself as a whole structure and system is so depressing, is so limiting, is so, you know, I wouldn't recommend it, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know that in this society you need, you know, uni gives you that degree, which then gives you that job, that salary paid job, like blah blah blah. Like, it is definitely a route some people have to take, and I understand that you want the uni experience, and the uni experience does grow you as a person 100%, but go and do something you enjoy, because even doing drama, it was just the fact that I knew I had all these, it's just a big weight around your shoulders that when I'm not doing well, like if I was thriving, But the thing is, in first year I had all of this like, oh yeah, I can't wait, but then uni just lets you down. The reality of life lets you down. The reality of people and society lets you down. Like, and I think in so many ways I was just let down and brought to the brutal reality that is, this ain't all that. It ain't all it's cracked up to be. You know, people aren't, the experience isn't, you know, uni isn't, like, it's all not so, you know, it's not as magnificent and amazing and like as you think it's going to be. Like, it's very much, actually the reality is we still teach in the same way we have done for millions and trillions of years, even though it's absolutely crap. Like, we're still expecting you to regurgitate information. We're still expecting you to, the way that you write an essay is actually, you can't say anything from your own brain or your own mind. You have to actually just go say what everyone else has said and then make sure you reference it. It's like, just so much of it was so against like freedom of expression and like so against like actually honing your power, your creativity, your knowledge, your wisdom. You know, like, you don't, it's really not all it's cracked up to be. And then obviously, it's aside that, I was also just on my own. I think if I wasn't healing alongside the uni journey, then maybe I could have, I think if I wasn't healing alongside the uni journey, then maybe I could have committed to it more and been more in it, and like I could have maybe done, but because I was like, for the first time in forever, actually like dealing with so many things that I hadn't dealt with, and like for the first time in forever I was actually in silence and I was in peace and I was safe to feel, and you know, that actually was just such a thing. And I went through so much of it on my own. It's making me emotional because yeah, sorry, I went through so much on my own. This is the thing, it like lives in my body. Like, this is the reason why I don't think I was so ecstatic this morning, because actually, like, it was so painful. And I think that actually, like, I'm so glad that it's over, but I'm also so like kind of sad and sorry for myself that it was so much pain, because I did deserve better, and actually it would have been nice if I'd have had a bit more like support and help through all of that. But that's not like a reflection on anyone else. It's more just like, in terms of the universe, like, I really commit myself to this path of like spirituality and growing and healing, and I felt like I'd really committed, in fact like overcommitted myself. I actually wrote this down here, to all these like expectations, right? Because with spirituality you learn about all the toxic stuff and blah blah blah, and then you really want to kind of like go and live like the opposite to that. And I really started to like put all of these things on myself where, and not only that, I was losing a lot of people in the process of me healing and of me growing and of me you know, whatever. So it was a whole big thing. But yeah, I really just like suffered a great deal. And I just feel sorry for it, because I'm like, obviously now I'm in like a lot more of a better place. And I would never put myself under those, but I still do, like I still find myself sort of like, anyway. And I just think that that's why I've just felt a bit heavy actually, because I was actually just like, you know what, like shit, that was actually so much, and it was actually really painful. So yeah, I put I just need to come back to myself, and then I'll feel it. And that was what it was. It's just like, I felt like I'd spent all day at uni yesterday. Like, I was there from 12 till literally like 9 p.m. Yeah, I was there all day. And like, on a good day, I can't, like, uni takes it out of me if I'm in there for like 2-3 hours. That takes it out of me already. So I feel like I just was already, and then I like obviously like celebrated with my friend, but it was like, I felt like I just felt like far away from myself in the morning. Like, I couldn't explain it. I just felt like I hadn't really visited myself properly yet, since like having done it all and having like, hadn't properly sunk in, I hadn't properly celebrated, I hadn't probably like seen myself and had time with myself. I kind of was like, got back late, went and like was with my friend, and just didn't really have that time with myself to just say, oh, you did it, you did it, you did it. And that's why I was crying. That's why I was crying earlier, because I was sat there just like, I sat down for the first time like this morning, like, well, I was sitting down most of the day, but like I had my journal, and like that's when I started to, anyway, I'll carry on reading this, but I was literally sat there going, I did it. I was like, you did it, and I was just crying because I was like, you know, that's what I was doing today. I just sat down crying, like hugging myself, being like, you did it, babe. And I was a mess. But yeah, so I put basically talking about, once I come back to myself, I think I'm going to start to feel that feeling of like joy and relief and like, yes, I did it. Yeah, I thought that's when I'll feel like, yes, I literally can't stop swearing. That's when I'm going to feel that feeling of like, yes, I did it. Do you know what I mean? And then, yeah, so I put that freedom, that relief, that joy, I am done. And I put, no, I am excited. I feel good. It's just not quite sank in yet. I feel a bit, I don't know, like weirdly sad. Not about uni, but like, I don't know, just sad. Also, I don't know, not sad, but just like, wow, like what a ride. I do write how I speak, literally. What a rough time, to be honest. And then I put, to be honest, it's been fucking awful. Okay, I'm just gonna swear. Fuck it. So yeah, to be honest, it's been effing awful. And then I put, and I was laughing. It truly has, to be honest, but I have grown and evolved. I need to remember to stay young. I bring myself suffering by expecting the world from myself. Because I know my potential and because I know what's right and what's truthful doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to get there now. Just because I know my higher self and because I've connected to that version of me, and because I've connected to like, you know, the wisdom and whatever, because I've connected to all these different parts of myself and like parts of the universe and like knowledge and consciousness, like it's consciousness, you know, like whatever. Then I'm like, okay, when I come back down, I'm like, okay, then I hold myself to these ridiculous expectations, like I expect the world from myself. And actually me now is just like, hang on a minute, you have to give me time to like really, because to materialize, like in this material world, in this weird, dense material reality that we live in, it is so hard to actually implement these strategies of like, it's not just as easy as eating healthy, because the supermarkets, so many food companies put stuff in that, you know, it's like, and this is the thing that really just sent me for so long, was just like, I wanted to do well, like I wanted to be exceptionally well, like not even exceptional because I'm not stupid, like I'm not going to hold myself to like ridiculous standards, but like it started to be just, the truth was, I didn't want to eat stuff that had like stuff in, like crap in it, do you know what I mean? It's something that really still hurts my heart. Because I do believe that it's unfair and it's like out of order, like it makes me angry, but you know, I just think that it's out of order that so much of what we consume is literally poison. But you know, you could look at it as like a champagne problem, because at least I can afford to eat and at least I've got... Okay, so I feel like I'm just really triggered at the moment, like it's really weird. I feel like my energy is a little bit all over the place. I feel emotional, but I also feel just like annoyed and like agitated. And I think it's just because a lot of things are coming up right now as I like go through this. I basically just put like about in my journal story here about how I obviously put so much in place for myself, and I like drowned in these new ideas of what I needed to be, and I drowned in these, you know, expectations of myself, and like I really was like, it was very much a perfectionism refinement situation. And I put here about I carry this need to be clean and perfect so much now. Like clean, especially, like this needs to be clean, like what I'm eating needs to be clean, like, you know, and that is so exhausting in a world where, because that's what I was talking about as well, how like the physical reality does not, everything's so backwards, everything is so backwards. And when you suddenly start to realize like the truth, then you have to go into the real world, which is just so full of like such false, you know, so much I could go into, but I don't even want to talk about it because it actually just makes me, it just sends my energy in a woof, like, because unfortunately, like, it is actually the truth of our existence. Like, it's not the truth of like what is true and what is right and what is like of love, but it is the truth of like what we actually experience, is that it's, you can't afford to eat as well as you want to eat, you know. Like I was actually at uni earning, like, I was actually working TGI's, I was earning like £50 a week, mate, trying to live off like £50 a week, and then trying to like actually, sorry, it's just really emotional because I was like, I haven't even been working for the last year, so I don't know what I've been doing, like trying to make the student loans stretch me and stuff, and still trying to eat like someone who's like 40 who owns a yacht and like is like sipping on tea and scones. Like, I was trying to eat like someone who could afford to eat like that, and I literally couldn't, and it was draining me so much, and I was so exhausted. I was so exhausted. You know, because I was doing everything. Because not only that am I trying to eat like really well, like I started to become veggie, so it was like learning how to even be veggie, like what do I even eat, so then I was like learning a whole new thing. And like every night I was cooking like for like 2 hours. I'm like, every night I was like cooking for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours because I wanted to make clean food. I'm sorry. This actually I wasn't expecting to talk about. I think it's just one of the main things that really like brought me a lot of suffering in my time at uni. Oh, it's like when you're left to your own devices, you start to put all these expectations on yourself. It's crazy. Not only that, it's like everything's become so like, you know, all you're really doing with your time is like doing the washing up. And I was cooking for like 2 hours on the stove, then I was washing up like the 7 pans that I'd used to cook, like and then it was just me doing the washing constantly, me obsessively and compulsively cleaning the house amongst kids that weren't really doing that, because they probably weren't really stressing themselves out about whether the side had crumbs on it or not, but I was, because something came over me where I just suddenly became so anal, like so, I think I like, again, it's like needing to clean and refine, and like I didn't have control over the way things were going, and I didn't like how the way things were going, how everything was slipping out of my control, how I was suddenly becoming so sensitive that I couldn't just function in these other ways, and like I was actually having to like take time to feel things. I was actually unable to just like perform and be what everybody needed me to be anymore, because I was so like having to deal with my own stuff for once, and give myself that love for once. And there's so much that went on behind the scenes that, you know, it's like that's then why I started to do those things, because it was like I needed to have control in some sort of way. And I really like went down some rabbit holes as well with like, you know, like cleansing my body, like parasite cleanses and stuff like that. Like I really just started to get deep down that train. And what's funny about a train of thought actually is that you hop onto these trains, and then once you're on that train, you're hitting every stop. Like you're on that train, and it goes and it goes and it goes, and you're on that train. Like you've chosen to board that train, right? And that comes with so much scenery, and like, so it's a lot, right? It's a lot. And I started to like, you know, deprive myself of sugar, and like I wouldn't have anything in it if it had sugar. Like my friends were offering me sweets and chocolates, and I was like, I wouldn't. It's just hard for me to talk about it, because it's something I did so on my own, in this idea of the fact, like in this way of like how I always do things, in this way of like like I've got this, like this is my thing, and like I felt that it was normal that I was doing that because of the stuff that I'd discovered, and I went down these rabbit holes all on my own, and then I just made all these things on my own that like, sorry, I'm being so messy, but that's good. Messy is good. It's relatable, you know. It's good. You want my heart? You've got my heart. This is my heart. Because this is my heart. You know, like this is my heart at the moment. Like, and as time's gone on, like my heart is like this. She is a whole thing. She's very heavy. She's very emotional. She's very fragile and vulnerable. And you know, yeah. And I didn't think that. I always thought of myself as very strong and functioning. So it is uncomfortable for me to be, you know, in this energy. And I almost used to feel like, not embarrassed, but just like, no, not me, I'm strong, I'm strong and overproductive, like hyperproductive, like, yeah. And my nervous system and my healing journey was like, girl, no. But anyway, yeah, I was going through that kind of all on my own, and like establishing all these things. Like, so I had this big thing about parasites and like being scared that that's what I had or whatever. So then I was going on cleanses, which is a good thing to do, like every now and then, like fasting or cleansing and stuff like that. Like, it's a very spiritual practice. Like, there's also like a lot of truth to the matter, and like, you know, you want to make sure your body's clean, you want to make sure like you haven't got like metals and stuff like this in your body. But oh my god, like, who told 21-year-old me that it was all my responsibility to just completely take on this big, what I really felt like I owed to myself was when you've grown up, not being in control of how you nourish yourself, how you look after yourself, right? Then when you get older, you know, I knew what I wanted to give to myself. I felt this massive responsibility to give myself the nourishment that I deserved and that I felt that I needed or felt that I never got, right? That's nothing on the people that looked after me, but that is just what, like, we could only do what we could with what we got at the time, with what we had at the time, and it wasn't a lot. Like, my mum was a single mum, like, we didn't really eat well. And as I got older and I started to get more conscious of like what I put in my body and what that means for my body and what that means for my mood and my regulation and everything, right? Then I was like, oh poop, like, I actually really want to pour into myself in all these different ways. But like I said, money, I was a uni student trying to eat like, you know, like Mary Berry, and unfortunately that was not my financial situation. And then mentally, physically, spiritually, it was too much. It was far too much that I put on myself. And like, obviously, yes, like I said, you want to eat well, you want to be clean, you want to cleanse your body and make sure there's no things that are going to cause any issues and stuff like that. But honestly, I think I made myself ill mentally and physically by like depriving my body that I used to shove sugar into every day. Like, I used to shove all sorts of carbs, all sorts of, like, you know, I went from like literally just eating everything, eating too much crap, to then eating absolutely no crap, nothing at all, like not even a wean. I didn't wean myself, not even a wean, babe, yeah? I went from eating meat every day to eating absolutely no meat. I went from eating sugar every day to having absolutely no sugar. I went from eating, you know, it's like I was like an alcoholic trying to stop alcohol cold turkey, and I nearly killed myself in the process. Do you know what I mean? Like, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and and physically even, I put myself at risk. And I think my body actually started to, I lost a lot of weight and I felt gaunt. And it's, sorry, but it's not like me to be malnourished like that. And I would joke that like my bum like was falling off because I've always had like quite a nice, like I've always felt like I had like quite a big bum when I was going. Such a silly thing to talk about bum. And then I felt like it was going, which actually she's coming back now, so that's a good sign for me that I'm healthy. That's a good sign for me that I'm healthy. Yeah, so I was making a joke at the time that was happening, but actually I felt really upset about the fact that my body was changing because of these things that I felt like I had to do, like as a spiritual person and as someone that knew the truth about how much crap was in things. And it was like, well, I have to act accordingly, you know, I need to make sure I'm eating, and I cut out everything. Guys, I wouldn't eat a single thing if it had a single ingredient in it. Like, I wouldn't eat anything that had like even one. I'm trying to talk through it, but it's really hard, that even had like one ingredient in it. You know, I think this is something that actually weighs really heavy on my heart, and I think that's why it's coming up now, because I haven't spoke about it and I didn't think it was going to come up. Actually, I really didn't. So it's interesting, because now that this has all come to a close, I'm like, and the person I am now, I'm like, wow, babe, like, you did not need to do all that, you know? I just felt like I had no guidance in that time. I had no help. It really was like a dark time in my life. Oh, sorry about this, guys. I'm being so messy. But yeah, sorry. Right, so it was a dark time in my life, okay? But I'm here now and I'm good. Oh, my gems are going to come off for sure. I think that one's already slipped down a bit. I'm here now and I'm in a good place. But yeah, I think I just got to that the end of this all, and actually I thought I was going to be ecstatic and relieved, and actually I was like kind of like heartbroken and distraught that the experience I thought was going to be like one of the best times of my life, and I was going to make all these amazing friends, and it was going to be, you know, actually was like a time that my spirit team and the universe or whatever, and even myself and my own nervous system, my own body, my own mind and spirit, whatever, decided was actually the time now where I'm safe to feel, and I'm safe to start having these healing experiences. Well, I'm safe to start having, like, start the healing process of delving through all this stuff. I'm safe to start to process and but then I started to, in that process, equip all these other like weird like coping mechanisms of, oh, my little babe, I love you so much, my little babe, you just did what you could with what you had, and that's enough, and also you didn't know any better, my love, and it's okay now, I forgive you. I wouldn't even hold you, I wouldn't even, you know, I wouldn't even have unforgiveness for you, if you know what I mean, whatever the opposite of forgiveness is. Like, but forgive yourself is what I'm saying, for how maybe you treat yourself. Forgive yourself for maybe overdoing it a little bit. But I felt like I really felt, and I even still feel now, you know, that there is that responsibility to take care of my body that way, but I don't feel it in the same ways, and I definitely eat a lot more. I've become, makes me so emotional. I think because it affected me physically, you know, and I think that's what it's now stored in my body as a trigger, because now it is triggering when I speak about me having like chips and stuff. Like when I think about how much more now, like yesterday I bought a scallop and I had a scallop with mayo on it, and it did give me a bellyache because I ate it on an empty stomach, and it's crap, it's greasy fried potato, you know what I mean, and mayo, it's like eggy madness, but you know, it was really good. But it did give me that bellyache because actually you do have to be careful what you eat, because obviously I am very sensitive. My problem is I am very sensitive to certain foods and things, you know, now. But yeah, it's something stored in me now that is like, can upset me on days like it can trigger me, because I think physically, because I even if my body wasn't physically affected by the way that I was eating, because I was eating well, don't get me wrong, I was eating the best I've ever eaten in my life. I was eating like more fruit and veg than I'd ever eaten in my whole life. I was eating more nutritious than I'd ever eaten, right? I was eating the most nutritious I've ever eaten in my whole entire life. So it wasn't like I wasn't eating well, it wasn't like I was restricting myself in those kinds of ways. I ate a lot of what I was eating, but it was that I was restricting myself in so many ways. I couldn't have this because it had that in it. I couldn't have this because it had that in it. This. No sugar, no sweet treats, no this, no that, no this, no that. No. You're gonna get up and have a herbal tea to cleanse your system. You're gonna not eat till this time to have a fast. And you know, it was all of these things that I was restricted in other ways, and I was trying to have some sort of control. It was like the house. I was constantly cleaning, even though nobody else was. I was hoovering the house from top to bottom. I was on my hands and knees scrubbing, and it was like, you know, cleaning the freaking fridge out. Like, who's cleaning the fridge out? None of these other uni students are thinking, oh, let me go clean the fridge out, you know, because they're not think like, it was like I was trying to, like, you know, anyway, bless my little heart, I did what I did, and that was okay. And now I have learned such a big lesson, and now I can speak openly about this, and it can help so many people. You do not have to do that, okay? That's what's really hard about spiritually awakening. You start to realise, like, oh, okay, you know, and you start to put it's like what religion does a little bit. It's like, it's not supposed to be rules and regulation. But anyway, let's just get back to this. I'm going to round this video up, because I actually said, oh, I'm so sorry I'm being messy. But it's funny because I wrote down here, right, I put, maybe one of these days I'll learn to give myself a effing break and cut myself some slack. I've held so tightly onto refinement and perfection. It has caused me such ache. Imperfect, so we all are, and rightly so. Be messy, sister, remember. So I've actually got a thing on my mirror that says, be filthy and badass. No, what is it? Don't forget to be filthy and badass, or something like that. Like messy, filthy and badass, or something like that. Because I'm like, don't forget to just be a mess. Because like the older version of me, like I had a real, oh, I've got my dinner down me. Lunch, sorry. Got me lunch on, man. Just saving it for later, darling. No, but I actually do eat really well now, and I'm glad. But I also let myself have a bit of a dabble in some crap, you know. Anyway, And yeah, I wrote that on my mirror because I had a realisation like late into third year, finally, where I was like, Queen, the older version of you is going to miss when you were 21 years old and you could eat crap and it wouldn't add to you, it wouldn't put on, you wouldn't put the weight on, or, you know, freaking 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old you is not going to want you to be going through this right now. It's not going to be wanting you to, babe, she's just going to be happy that you're making it through the day, that you're, you know, pouring so much into other people and into yourself and into this journey, and like she's going to be happy that you're having veg and fruit. That's enough. Like, that is enough, babe. You haven't got to be, and you know what, you're not going to die from having like a frozen chip every now and then, or a bit of like this oil that's, you know, or a bit of that, or a bit, you're not going to die from a bit of sugar every now and then. You're not going to, you know. So, and it's also like being messy is like, she's going to miss when you used to, you know, go out and do this and do that, and all the things that you get in your head about that you need to refine, you need to stop doing, you need to perfect, this is wrong with me, this is wrong with me, this is wrong with me, this is wrong with me. Oh, all those things that you're killing yourself with now, she'll be sorted. You won't be doing that anymore anyway, mate, yeah? Because you grow and you evolve, and even if you are doing it still, who cares? It's your life, your experience. You blink and it's over. I had to keep pulling myself back into the spiritual perspective. Instead of being in the human and being all like, everything's wrong with me. What do I need to do to, you know, what can I do? What can I do? Spirit said, the spirit in me, the soul, the higher version is like, babe, you do realise that you're alive on this earth for 1 minute, and you actually come down here because in your physical form, that is when you can experience, you know, sensory pleasure. Like, you can eat an ice lolly. Like that video I made saying it was about this, actually. I had an ice lolly on a sunny day, and that was the first time in forever that I didn't even think about it. I was like, I'm gonna have an ice lolly. I mean, I briefly thought about it, but it didn't stop me from buying the ice lolly. That was the thing, and I loved the ice lolly. I enjoyed the ice lolly. The ice lolly was brilliant, and I felt like I'd really made progress because that ice lolly is not going to kill me. In fact, it felt great to have that ice lolly. Do you understand? So it's one of them where you come down here as a spirit to enjoy an ice lolly, to eat a meal and be able to taste those tastes. And, you know, okay, sometimes it, you know, we live in a world where there is so much, you know, shiza. We consume a lot of shiza in the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, you know, the content and media that we consume. It is all, I can't even get into it, guys, because you already know, okay? Just eat, just eat. You're fat. Juniper, I have lost 10 pounds. You know, I've lost 10 stone in 3 weeks with Juniper. You know, no, that's not healthy. Thank you very much. Stop advertising that. Anyway, so I put, just because it's on and up from here doesn't mean it needs to be pressure and obligation. And I want to talk about this because just because it's on and up, like just because you know that you're, like, I had to catch myself this morning because I had to just say, look, just because now that you're free, like that means that the next things come in. That does not mean don't do what you did last time and try and be like this. Oh, okay, this means that I now need to be a fully grown adult version of myself, which means I then need to be doing this, you know. You know, so I had to just remind myself that just because now that I'm free, please do with your time wisely. Like, please do with your time and your space and this new love that you have for yourself wisely. Do not forget that you are imperfect, and that is the most perfect, brilliant thing about you, right? And so the whole, it does not need to be pressure or obligation to now become this yeah, so, and then I basically just said, keep speaking. You have much wisdom to share with the world, much important insight and information. You have time now for you. Liberation is the theme here. How can you best love and mother yourself? Trust in the process of everything, and you will not have to worry or fret. Everything is to teach you and help you. It will all come together because it already is. As you are, seed, love you. And that's what I said this morning. And it's because I need to make sure that with this time now, I don't make the same mistakes that I did and be so hard on myself and expect all these things from myself. because it is when it's up to you to have the time to think, and when it's up to you to make your days, and when it's up to you to choose who you are and who you want to be and how you want to show up in this world. You know, sometimes you make mistakes, and sometimes the choices that you make are governed by a different force that is not your higher self, or is not the love that is from spirit. You know, the love that we all are is maybe from fear-based, like it was very fear-based. This is what happened to me, fear. And this is what happens to all of us, basically, in so many different ways. I've spoken a lot on this channel about how a lot of adults especially make decisions based out of fear, and not based out of like what they truly want and what they truly kind of desire, and what comes from a place of love and from their heart. It's more from a place of fear, and we're governed by fear in terms of the decisions we make. You know, you might choose to get a mortgage on a house with a partner you don't even like, but it's because it's a fear of not having the stability otherwise, you know. So I made a lot of decisions out of fear that I was going to be poisoned, or like a fear that I was going to get parasites, or fear that, you know, I don't know, so much fear. Yeah, fear that my body was going to be in crisis if I ate this, or, you know, fear that, just so much fear. So much fear came with the spiritual awakening, because obviously I was consuming way too much media. You know, my algorithm suddenly realised I was on a spiritual awakening, and then it decided to send me 50 million things. And then I think that's what really doesn't help, is you then going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. Please be gentle with yourself. You do not need to be perfect in a minute. You do not need to be perfect at any point, in any time. Like, you do not need to be perfect at any point, at any time, right? Have grace for yourself. Have love for yourself. And do not be hard on yourself. You will only exhaust yourself out, and you will only, literally, you will only burn yourself right out, and you don't deserve that, okay? And let me be the walking proof that you do not need to do that, okay? But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and as much as that is something that I'll probably carry for a while, it's like I made a little note to myself there, like, you have work, like, you keep speaking, keep turning up in the way that you feel is in alignment with your heart, because not only does it heal not only does it heal others to receive my story and receive but it also heals me in that process of actually sifting through the things that I might otherwise keep locked in here out of bad habit, you know. So making these videos actually really helps me to process my own stuff, and it also helps me to connect with other people, because like I said, unfortunately vulnerability and, you know, hard stories is actually how we actually relate to each other more on these types of things than we do on kind of having like these profound, brilliant experiences of life, or, you know, everyone's got a story to tell. Everyone's got a story to tell, and believe it or not, I think everyone carries pain, but then everyone also carries power. So my aim is to share my pain and show you how I've turned it into power, and how I'm utilising it as power, and then also for you to feel safe enough to feel your own pain, and therefore eventually alchemise that and use that as power, and see it for the love that it is and the power that it is, okay? Because if I didn't go through all that, I couldn't make these videos and touch people's hearts, you know, and make a difference. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. But yeah, check the description box below out, because I always put free songs and free affirmations in the description box for you. Also give me a like, subscribe and a follow, and yeah, put a little comment if that resonated with you, or you have anything to say. Put a little love heart in the description if you got this far, and I love you. Bye.